The moment I realized my family didn't love me the way I thought they did came down to one sentence. "You can rebuild," my mother said. She said it gently. Soft voice. Almost loving. But it landed like a verdict. Because what she really meant was, your life is disposable. And once you hear that, from your own parent, you never unhear it. I'm 29 years old. Second son. Always the second choice. And 3 months ago, my family decided my future was the price they were willing to pay to save my older brother from himself. Let me tell you how it happened. The dinner that wasn't really a dinner. My parents invited me over on a Sunday evening. Nothing unusual. Same house. Same table. Same smell of overcooked rice and stew clinging to the walls. Daniel, my older brother, was already there when I arrived. That should have been my first warning. He wasn't scrolling on his phone like usual. He wasn't complaining about money like usual. He was calm. Too calm. He smiled when he saw me. Not warmly. Strategically. That smile should have told me I was walking into a courtroom, not a family dinner. Why Daniel has always mattered more. Daniel is 5 years older than me. Firstborn son. The miracle baby. My parents love to tell the story of how they struggled to conceive, how doctors said it might never happen, and then, Daniel arrived. I came later. Unplanned. Unremarkable. Replaceable. Growing up, Daniel could do no wrong. If he failed, the world failed him. If he succeeded, it was proof of destiny. Me? I was the steady one. The low-maintenance one. The kind of child parents don't worry about, and therefore don't invest in emotionally. The pattern nobody talks about. Here's the pattern that defined our lives. Daniel chased big dreams. My parents funded them. Daniel failed. My parents excused him. I watched and learned what not to do. I stayed in school. I worked part-time. I saved. I didn't ask for bailouts. Not because I was stronger, but because I knew no one would catch me if I fell. Daniel's adult life, a slow-motion crash. By his late 20s, Daniel was already drowning in debt. But he always sounded convincing. This business is different. The market shifted unexpectedly. If I just get a little more time. Time. Money. Forgiveness. My parents gave him all three. He married young. Had kids fast. Bought a house he couldn't afford. Leased a car he didn't need. And every time things went wrong, someone else paid. The thing no one says out loud. Daniel isn't unlucky. He's entitled. He genuinely believes life owes him success, and that other people exist to cushion the fall when it doesn't arrive. And for years, my parents proved him right. Back to the table. We sat down to eat. No one touched their food. That's when my father cleared his throat. "Your brother is in trouble," he said. I nodded. Of course he was. He always was. Then came the sentence that changed everything. "We've decided you should help him, with your inheritance." Not can you help. Not would you consider. Should. As if it was already settled. My brain actually stalled. I didn't get angry at first. I felt confused. Inheritance? I asked. You mean, later? When? No, my mother interrupted softly. Now. Or soon. Daniel leaned forward. You don't even need it yet, he said. You're doing fine. There it was again. You're fine. Which in my family translates to, you can afford to bleed. The logic that made no sense. I asked practical questions. How much are we talking about? All of it, my father said. I laughed. A reflex. Like my body rejected the idea before my mind could. You're asking me to give up everything you plan to leave me, because he lost his? My mother started crying. He has children, she whispered. Weaponizing innocence. Let me be clear, I love my nieces and nephews. They didn't choose their father. But that's why this works, because kids are the ultimate shield. If you resist, you're not just saying no to an adult. You're saying no to children. And everyone knows it. The sentence that still haunts me. You're young, my mother said again. You can rebuild. That's when I realized something terrifying. They had already done the math. My future versus Daniel's comfort. And mine was expendable. Daniel finally spoke up. You're my brother, he said. I'd do it for you. That might have been the most insulting part. Because no, he wouldn't. He never had. I tried compromise. I offered alternatives. Downsizing their house. Selling his car. Budgeting help. Partial support, not everything. Daniel rejected all of it. That would ruin my kid's stability, he said. Funny how my stability never entered the conversation. The shift from request to expectation. The shift from request to expectation. When I didn't immediately agree, the tone changed. My father became colder. My mother cried harder. Daniel grew defensive. This isn't about fairness, my father snapped. It's about family. Translation, fall in line. The moment I said no. I didn't shout. I didn't insult anyone. I just said, I won't give up my inheritance. Silence. Heavy. Absolute. Daniel stared at me like I'd betrayed him. My father's jaw tightened. My mother broke down. And that's when Daniel said it. So this is who you really are. That sentence did damage. Because it rewrites everything. Suddenly, I wasn't the responsible one. I was the selfish one. The narrative flipped instantly, and everyone accepted it. What I didn't know yet. That dinner wasn't the end. It was the opening move. Because my family wasn't done with me. Not even close. The smear campaign began quietly. The calls didn't come immediately. They trickled. An aunt asking if everything was okay. A cousin hinting at misunderstandings. A family friend sending Bible verses about generosity. No one asked my side. They already had theirs. Daniel had told his story. And in his version. He was desperate. I was wealthy. I refused to help. His children were suffering. I was the villain. Then came the threat. My father called me late one night. If you won't help willingly, he said, we'll change the will. There was no anger in his voice. Just certainty. That was the moment something broke in me. Because it confirmed what I'd always suspected. Love in my family was conditional. And I had just failed the condition. I pulled away. I stopped answering calls. Skipped family dinners. Focused on work. And here's the part that scares me the most. I felt peace. Which made me feel guilty. Because relief shouldn't come from distance, from your own family. Right? But the worst was still coming. Because Daniel wasn't done. He decided to make it personal. And when he did, he crossed a line I can't unsee. The first night after I stopped answering my family's calls, I slept like I hadn't slept in years. No phone buzzing. No guilt-laced messages. No pressure to explain myself. Just silence. And for the first time, I realized how loud my family had always been in my head. The calm before the ambush. That peace lasted exactly 12 days. On the 13th day, there was a knock on my door. Not a polite knock. Not a neighbor knock. A confident knock. The kind of knock from someone who believes they're entitled to be let in. I already knew who it was before I looked through the peephole. Daniel. With his kids. He brought reinforcements. My stomach dropped. He stood there with my niece holding his hand, my nephew half asleep against his shoulder. They looked confused. Tired. Out of place. And suddenly, I wasn't just a brother anymore. I was a jury. I opened the door because, let's be honest, I'm not heartless. And Daniel knew that. The performance began immediately. He didn't sit down at first. He paced. This didn't have to be like this, he said. The kids sat quietly on my couch, swinging their legs. My niece smiled at me. That almost broke me. You stopped answering, Daniel continued. Mom hasn't been sleeping. I said nothing. You've turned everyone against you, he added. That's when I finally spoke. No, I said calmly. You did that. He flipped instantly. Wow, he scoffed. Still playing the victim? Victim. Interesting choice of word, from a man who had never once faced consequences without outsourcing the pain. The children card played perfectly. Daniel knelt in front of his kids. "Do you know why we're here?" he asked them gently. My heart started pounding. "No," my niece said. He looked at me. "Because Uncle doesn't want to help us." I felt sick. I stopped him. "That's enough," I said sharply. He stood up slowly, eyes locked on mine. "See," he said. "This is what I mean. Cold." I told him to leave. He didn't, the lie that crossed the line. "You know," Daniel said, lowering his voice, "Mom told me you never wanted kids anyway. Guess that explains why you don't care about mine." That was a lie. And he knew it. My parents had said a lot of things, but that wasn't one of them. He was improvising now. I kicked him out. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I opened the door and said, "Take your kids and leave. Now." He stared at me for a long moment. Then he smiled. That same confident smile from the dinner table. "You're making a big mistake," he said. And then he left. The fallout was immediate. Within 48 hours. My parents stopped speaking to me entirely. Relatives unfriended me on social media. Someone posted a vague status about blood being thicker than money. I became a cautionary tale. Then came the ultimatum. 2 weeks later, my father requested a meeting. Neutral location. Coffee shop. I already knew what it was about. The will, officially weaponized. My father didn't waste time. "We're rewriting the will," he said. "Everything goes to Daniel." I nodded. No shock. No fight. That unsettled him. "Aren't you going to say anything?" he asked. "I already have," I replied. "Just not in the way you wanted." My mother finally spoke. "You're tearing this family apart," she whispered. That hurt. Because it implied that I held the power. When in reality, I was the only one refusing to lie anymore. The question I finally asked. Why is it always my job to fix his mistakes? Silence. My father looked away. That was my answer. Something changed after that meeting. I stopped trying to be understood. I stopped rehearsing explanations in my head. I stopped hoping someone would suddenly see me. And strangely, my life got better. Daniel didn't. 6 months later, I heard through a cousin. Daniel had burned through what my parents gave him. Again. The house was on the line. The marriage was strained. The same pattern. Different funding source. My parents came back. They didn't apologize. They didn't acknowledge the will. They asked if I could help with the kids' school fees. I said no. And this time, I didn't feel bad. The final twist. A year later, my mother fell ill. Serious enough to scare everyone. I visited the hospital. Daniel was there. He looked older. Smaller. For the first time, he didn't look confident. He looked afraid. The question he didn't expect. If saying no costs you your family, but saying yes costs you yourself. Which loss is actually worse? And honestly, am I the holy for choosing me, for once? If you found this story interesting and love to listen to other family revenge stories like the one you just listened to, please do well to smash the like button, subscribe to this YouTube channel and most importantly turn on the notification bell so YouTube will notify you first once we upload valuable contacts like this. I'll also appreciate your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for taking your time to listen to my story.